Hey, what's happening, guys? Got some interesting Amazon news for you guys today. By the way, you've tuned into Rules for Rebels. Today we're going to be covering an Amazon story from Reuters. I tend to try to cover a lot of this Amazon news and things like that. A lot of times I think this stuff signals kind of what Amazon has in store for the future. And this article today is about automation. Automation is nothing new. Amazon has been using automation for a long time, but there were a lot of tasks that couldn't really be automated, at least in the past, and one of them was actually packaging up packages. And I probably won't release it till tomorrow, but there's another interesting Amazon article about how Amazon is offering employees $10,000 to quit their job to go start a delivery company. And I actually did a story a while back about how Amazon was trying to recruit people to start delivery businesses. I think it required about 10 grand up front. You had to go to Seattle for a bunch of training. And all in all, in my opinion, it didn't seem very lucrative. Everything with Amazon seems to be a race to the bottom, and the only one that really seems to get ahead is Amazon. And I guess Amazon must have had problems getting the general public to jump on and want to be Amazon delivery drivers. So what they're doing now, I guess, is they're offering employees 10 grand. They're willing to put up the 10 grand if the employee wants to go start a delivery business. And I think this is kind of an interesting topic because both in the business world as well as in politics, there's a lot of talks about robotics taking jobs and are we going to need a universal basic income or UBI? And pretty much like all the Democratic politicians who are planning on running for president in the upcoming election, it's almost like a race to who can be more socialist, and everyone wants to do UBI. The one guy who I do think is interesting, I don't think I would vote for him, but he's kind of an interesting guy and seems a little bit more level-headed, is this Andrew Yang, and he kind of has this proposed universal basic income of $1,000 per month. And we'll get into this article here in a second. I was just kind of curious what you guys think about the whole UBI thing. Kind of my opinion, my knee-jerk reaction to it is like, that's not America. Like, nothing's for free. I was definitely I had my first job at a landscaping nursery yard when I was 14. And when I was 16, I had my grandpa as well as a great uncle of mine were both kind of getting to the age where they couldn't drive anymore. And both of them were going to give me their cars. My parents wouldn't let me take their cars because I wouldn't value it if I didn't buy it with my own money. And so, I was definitely kind of, we got to move over here to a charger. I was definitely kind of brought up with a very strong work ethic and the idea that nobody gets anything for free and nobody gets anything without working for it. So my initial, kind of knee-jerk reaction to this UBI stuff is, nobody gets anything for free. We shouldn't do this. It's kind of un-American. But at the same time, I guess there are some compelling arguments that can be made that, like, are we going to get to a point where, due to automation and technology and robotics and AI, that there's just really no need for that many workers anymore? So I'd be curious to kind of hear your guys' thoughts on that. Drop a comment down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Let's kind of keep politics out of it and just kind of talk about logistically, is that something that would be needed, or what your thoughts on it are. But this article is pretty interesting. I guess each one of these robots could replace 24 workers, and I think they're saying like 1,300 jobs could be lost just in kind of the beta testing rollout of this. This is from San Francisco Reuters. Amazon.com Inc. is rolling out machines to automate a job held by thousands of its workers, boxing up customer orders. The company started adding technology to a handful of warehouses in recent years, which scans goods coming down a conveyor belt and envelopes them seconds later in boxes custom built for each item. Two people who worked on the project told Reuters. Amazon has considered installing two machines at dozens more warehouses, removing at least 24 roles at each one. These people said the facilities typically employ more than 2,000 people. That would amount to more than 1,300 cuts across 55 U.S. fulfillment centers for standard size inventory. Amazon would expect to recover the costs in under 2 years at $1 million per machine plus operational expenses, they said. And here's one of the things, I'm not a big fan of Amazon. Not a big fan of Jeff Bezos. I don't really like how Amazon is kind of pushing out small businesses, but at the same time, I'm also kind of a free market guy. So whoever wins, wins. But what kind of annoys me is how some companies get a big head start over others and then kind of actively lobby to prevent other people from getting into business. And that's going on big time right now in like the marijuana industry. You're starting to get a lot of big pharma and big tobacco or just large corporations getting into the weed business and then kind of lobbying to set up the laws and set up the system to keep small guys from competing. And in my state of Illinois, I think we're going to have recreational weed by January 1st of next year, 2020. And I was just reading an article the other day about how they're kind of battling between, like, should we let big corporations kind of take this over, or should we keep licenses affordable and try to let kind of the little guy kind of get into this business? That's a business that I would definitely like to try to enter if it's feasible. But I mean, when Illinois rolled out, I'm getting kind of on a tangent here, but when Illinois rolled out medical marijuana, I believe it was $250,000 non-refundable just to apply for the license. And I actually have a client outside of the weed business, but who's a consultant in the weed business. And she was saying when a client comes to her wanting to open a dispensary, she asks them right off the bat, do you have $150,000 to just flush down the toilet or throw in the garbage? Because that's just kind of, I think, to pad people's palms and kind of get your foot in the door. That's not build outs or anything else. But I'm getting sidetracked here. So the plan, previously unreported, shows how Amazon is pushing to reduce labor and boost profits as automation of one of the most common warehouse tasks, picking up an item, is still beyond its reach. The changes are not finalized because vetting technology before a major deployment can take a long time. Let's see, robotic rollout. Amazon has rapidly opened warehouses across the United States to deliver goods faster, becoming a major employer. Now the retailer is starting to automate a central role in those facilities, boxing customers' orders. We kind of talked about Amazon a little bit the other day. We talked about how Amazon in the near future is going to be changing Amazon Prime 2-day delivery to 1-day delivery, and that's in large part because they have so many more fulfillment warehouses across the country. You know, a lot of times now your item might be coming from within 30 or 50 miles of your home, as opposed to having to come from an Amazon warehouse across the country. I think I got like 2 or 3 of them near me here in Chicago. Let's see. Amazon is famous for its drive to automate as many parts of the business as possible, whether pricing goods or transporting items in its warehouses. But the company is in a precarious position as it considers replacing jobs that have won it subsidies and public goodwill. And Amazon has never really been known to be a... What's going on with my screen there? Amazon has never really been known to be a friendly employer, right? We heard about how people were peeing in bottles because they're not allowed to go to the bathroom. The pay isn't good. The workers are stressed out. People are having to run, and they're still not meeting their... I guess paces or fulfillment deadlines as far as how many packages that they're supposed to handle. And, you know, I guess as far as how Amazon looks at this, they're going to recover the money in 2 years, and robots or machines, they don't take sick days, they don't have to go to the bathroom, they don't need lunch breaks, they don't try to unionize. So, you know, well, it's great to kind of push for better conditions for employees. At some point, you know, when robotics becomes more cost effective, that's what companies are going to do. Let's see, here's a tweet from Dave Clark. Perhaps a different headline: Amazon tests tech that makes packages smaller with less overall cardboard waste. For all of this fear of lost jobs, the number one issue for most of us is finding enough people to fill the jobs we have and the new ones we're creating. Amazon last month downplayed its automation efforts to press visiting its Baltimore fulfillment center, saying a fully robotic future was far off. Its employee base has grown to become one of the largest in the United States as the company opened new warehouses and raised wages to attract staff in a tight labor market. A key to its goal of a leaner workforce is attrition, one of the sources said. Rather than lay off workers, the person said, the world's largest online retailer will one day refrain from refilling package rolls. Those have high turnover because boxing multiple orders per minute over 10 hours is taxing work. At the same time, employees that stay with the company can be trained to pick up more technical roles. The new machines, known as carton wrap from Italian firm CMC Cyril pack much faster than humans. They crank out 600 to 700 boxes per hour, or 4 to 5 times the rate of a human packer, the sources said. The machines require one person to load custom orders, another to stock cardboard, and a glue technician to fix jams on occasion. CMC declined to comment, though Amazon has announced it intends to speed up shipping across its Prime loyalty program. So that's what we just talked about. This latest round of automation is not focused on speed. It's truly about efficiency and savings, one of the people said. Including other machines known as SmartPack, which a company rolled out recently to mail items in patented envelopes, Amazon's technology suite will be able to automate a majority of its human packers. 5 rows of workers at a facility can turn into 2. supplemented by 2 CMC machines and 1 smart pack, the person said. And I think Amazon's probably going to keep this under wraps, because one of Amazon's selling points to getting all these tax breaks and opening up in new communities is, hey, we're going to bring all these jobs to your community. But in reality, it's all short term. Eventually, Amazon is going to try to automate as much as possible. The company describes this as an effort to repurpose workers, the person said. It could not be learned where roles might appear first and what incentives, if any, there are tied to those specific jobs. But the hiring deals that Amazon has with governments are often generous. For the 1,500 jobs Amazon announced last year in Alabama, for instance, the state promised the company $48.7 million over 10 years, its Department of Commerce said. Picking challenge. Amazon is not alone in testing CMC's packaging technology. JD.com Inc. and Shutterfly Inc. have used the machines as well, the company said, as has Walmart Inc., according to a person familiar with its pilot. Walmart started 3.5 years ago and has since installed the machines in several U.S. locations, a person said. The company declined to comment. Interest in boxing technology sheds light on how the e-commerce behemoths are approaching one of the major problems in the logistics industry today, finding a robotic hand that can grasp diverse items without breaking them. Amazon employs countless workers at each fulfillment center who do variations of the same task. Some stow inventory while others pick orders, and still others grab those orders, placing them in the right size box and taping them up. Many venture-backed companies and university researchers are racing to automate this work. While advances in artificial intelligence are improving machines' accuracy, there is still no guarantee that the robotics can prevent a marmalade jar from slipping and breaking, or switch seamlessly from picking up an eraser to grabbing a vacuum cleaner. And that's one of the interesting things. Think about how many, I think that stat's out there, but think about how many millions of products that Amazon sells, and this robot has to be able to grab everything from a poly bag with a pair of earrings in it to a big vacuum cleaner or something else. Amazon has tested different vendors' technologies that it may one day use for picking, including soft robotics, a Boston area startup that grew inspiration from octopus tentacles to make grippers more versatile. One person familiar with Amazon's experimentation said soft robotics declined to comment on its work with Amazon, but said it handled a wide and ever-changing variety of products for multiple large retailers. Believing that the grasping technology is not ready for prime time, Amazon is automating around that problem when packing customers' orders. Humans still place items on a conveyor, but machines then build the boxes around them and take care of the sealing and labeling. This saves money not just by reducing labor costs, but by reducing wasted packing materials as well. These machines are not without flaws. CMC can only produce so many per year. They need a technician on site who can fix problems as they arise, a requirement Amazon would rather do without, the two sources said. The super hot glue closing the boxes can pile up and halt a machine. Still, other types of automation like robotics grocery assembly system of Ocado Group PLC are the focus of much industry interest, but the boxing machines are already proving helpful to Amazon. The company has installed them in busy warehouses that are driving distance from Seattle, Frankfurt, Milan, Amsterdam, Manchester, and elsewhere, the people said. The machines have the potential to automate far more than 24 jobs per facility, one of the sources said. The company is also setting up nearly 24 more fulfillment centers for small and non-specialty inventory, according to logistics consultancy MWPVL International, which could be ripe for the machines. This is just a harbinger of automation to come. A lights-out warehouse is ultimately the goal, one of the people said. So, let's see, do we got any comments here? No comments for that article. But curious to hear your guys' thoughts about this. Go ahead and drop a comment down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button down below, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Later.